everybody. Welcome once again to another episode of the Tigers Baseball Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Schulte. Let's get into it. This podcast recorded on the 30th of June, 2025. This sees the Tigers right now at 52-32, 20 games over 500, best record in baseball, the number one scoring offense in the American League. Are you kidding me? Especially after seeing some of the results that have come up over the last few days, like a 3-0 shutout at the hands of the Oakland A's on Wednesday. And then a 4-1 loss to Minnesota on Friday, and they're still the best scoring offense in the American League. We're going to get to that in a minute because, wow. Let's take a look at the injury report. Matt Vierling was activated on Saturday as a corresponding move. Trey Sweeney went down to the minors. I kept telling y'all from the very beginning, he's gone. He's not going to stay. He's a left-handed Ryan Kreidler. He really is, except he hasn't played any other positions. He just plays short. But whereas Ryan Kreidler plays second, third, short, and center field. But Javi Baez has done well enough, hitting right around 290 with a little bit of power and playing good defense. He's done well enough that AJ Hinch says, you know what? Sorry, Trey. We need Vierling up here more than we need you. So Vierling gets activated, and bye-bye Sweeney. The next piece to come back is probably Reese Olson. My guess is we'll probably see him activated either tomorrow or Wednesday. Jack Flaherty is a day overdue to pitch, so today would be his pitching day. If Detroit actually had a game, they don't. They're going to be in Washington tomorrow, and so he might pitch tomorrow against Washington and push Reese Olson back to Wednesday. I think AJ Hinch liked the different look of Skubal, Olson, Flaherty as compared to Skubal, Flaherty, Olson. But you never know, because he did pitch the second game of the season after Skubal, so it went Skubal, Flaherty, Olson, and then Job, of course, on Monday in Seattle. Mize on Monday in Seattle. No, it was Job. Job on Monday in Seattle and Mize on Tuesday, and then Skubal pitched again that Wednesday. But you just never know. You never know what AJ Hinch is going to do. And so as a result, we just sort of sit around and do our thing and see where he goes. But it's probable that he will be up this week, if not next week. He has 30 days. So he's got basically 6 starts if you go on 5 days rest. So he's got 30 days. He did throw 74 pitches on Wednesday. And he threw 10 changeups and didn't have any discomfort throwing that changeup. And that's what they were looking for. So you maybe see him this week. You never know. Kerry Carpenter, I don't know what is going on there. I don't know if he is on the injured list yet or not. I have not seen anything about that. He left last night's game with a hamstring issue. He's had hamstring issues for a good portion of the year. He homered yesterday and tripled, and when he tripled, that's when he aggravated the hamstring. He's been dealing with a mild hamstring strain probably since about mid-May, and he's just been playing through it, which I think is dumb, but that's just me. Because you need your legs as a base for hitting, but he seems to be able to convince the trainers and AJ Hinch that it's okay for him to play through it. He did hit his 16th homer last night. So You know, you never know. But it's day to day as it is with everybody, but it's especially day to day with Kerry Carpenter. Riley Green hit his 18th last night, and that was an absolute missile. So we are at a point now. The midway point has come and gone when it comes to games played. Detroit has 84 games played. That means some quick math. It's 78 games left. They could go 39-39, and that would put them at 91 wins and 71 losses. 20 games over 500. That's enough to win a division. That's enough to get a first round bye in the playoffs most years. So I'm not saying that they're guaranteed a division title, because Cleveland, who is second in the division right now, like 10.5 games back, Cleveland could go on this incredible run. But I don't see it happening, folks. They haven't guaranteed anything yet. They haven't locked anything up yet, but they're certainly playing well enough. If they play at this 20 games over pace throughout the rest of the year, so in those 78 games, if they go 58-38, that's 110 wins. That's huge. I don't see them doing that. Sorry, it would be 59-39. 49-29. Sorry, I got the numbers wrong. If they go 49-29, that's still 101 wins, which is a big deal. It's a big deal. I don't see them doing that, but you just never know. That's why they play the games, as they've said. So I got a WhatsApp message on Saturday from a guy by the name of Matt, and he's in the UK. He follows baseball. He's a Yankees fan. We'll forgive him for that. Because other than that, he's an all-around decent guy. But he asked me, and Matt, I really hope you're listening, because I gave you the link. I'll actually text you the link so you can actually get a listen to it after this podcast has been uploaded. But he asked me, he said, why are the Tigers so good? What is the deal? What's in the water? What is it that they've done that's gotten themselves to be so good? So I said, well, listen to Sunday's podcast, which I am recording on a Monday, but listen to the next podcast and you'll find out. Because I'm just like that. So here is my opinion. This is just my opinion as to why the Tigers are so good. First of all, their pitching is above average. I'm not saying it's amazing. I'm not saying it's super tremendous and you have to bow down to the great Chris Fetter and the great Robin Lund and the great Juan Nieves, because they have their issues still. But their pitching is still quite good. Their defense, especially now that they got Parker Meadows back and Matt Vierling back, their defense is, and Wenceel Perez for that matter, just ask two Oakland base runners in Tuesday night's game. Their defense is much improved. And they're hitting. It's not that they're bombing the ball. They really aren't just absolutely crushing the baseball. There's probably a lot of teams in baseball that have more home runs than they do. But they're getting important hits when they need them. They're getting big hits when they need them. And I'll eat crow here, because I remember at the beginning of the year, I was I was having a go at Dan Dickerson and Bobby Scales for saying, oh, well, Detroit just couldn't get that clutch hit when they needed it. And I was like, they won't get that clutch hit because they don't have anybody that's clutch. Well, different guys have been contributing every night, and different guys have been coming up clutch in those situations where they need to. They're coming up clutch in clutch situations. And this is no longer an aberration. This is not, this is 82 games, guys. Sorry, 84 games. This is 84 games. So it's no longer an aberration. You can't sit there and say, well, it'll change in a couple of weeks or a month or two. This is how it is. You better get used to it and you better like it. If you don't, tough, because I do. But you've got Spencer Torkelson with 17 home runs, Riley Green with 18, Kerry Carpenter with 16, Dylan Dingler's knocking on the door of 10. 4 guys right there in double-digit home runs. Wenceel Perez has hit 5 or 6 homers. Zach McKinstry's hit a couple. Javi Baez has hit 7 or 8 homers. So you've got 1 through 9, some pop in that lineup. Parker Meadows has hit a couple of homers already. And remember, he's still rounding into shape. Matt Vierling hasn't even really gotten a lot of playing time this year. And last year, he had double-digit homers. He may not make it that high, get that high, a career high, that high this year. He'll probably hit 12 or 13, but that's because the first 2 months of the season he's been out. 3 months of the season he's been out. But at the end of the day, this team is good because they do everything well. They don't do it exceptionally well. They just do it well. They're very solid. They play good defense. Even Gleyber Torres is playing good defense, and everybody said, oh, well, he's actually a defensive downgrade from Colt Keith for what he was last year. He's a defensive downgrade from him. He's playing well defensively. Spencer Torkelson is playing well defensively. Whoever you put at third base is playing well defensively. Javi Baez brings good defense every night. I believe Dylan Dingler actually leads the league in caught stealings for catchers. Even the pitchers' defenses, the pitchers are playing defensively pretty well. And so you look at what Detroit does, it's just everything is solid and it's all clicking on the same page. And that's what makes this team good. It's not because they have stars. It's not because, they've got Tarik Skubal, and that gives you an edge no matter what, no matter who you are. But they just play the game well, and that's why they're winning. I want to touch real quick on something that happened this week that is of minor importance. So Detroit took 2 out of 3 from the Athletics this week. That's big. What happened in that series? It wasn't Riley Green hitting homers. It wasn't Spencer Torkelson hitting homers. It wasn't Kerry Carpenter hitting homers. It wasn't Tarik Skubal pitching through some difficulties with his command. It wasn't, Jack Flaherty only giving up 3 runs. It wasn't Diedrich Enns and his 5 innings of solid work. Those things all happened. Wenceel Perez, as I said, threw out 2 base runners in 1 inning from right field on Tuesday night. Those are important, yes. But the biggest thing that happened during that series is that Detroit took 2 out of 3 from Oakland. Sorry, from the Athletics. They'll be Oakland until they move to Vegas, in my opinion. Detroit took 2 out of 3 from the A's. up until that series between 2025 and 2017, so you go back over the last 8 years, Oakland is 20-5 against the Tigers at Comerica Park. The A's are 20-5. Now they're 21-7. The big deal this week was that Detroit took 2 out of 3 from the A's. So there you go. This week they're in Washington for 3. Then they got the 4th, 5th, and 6th in Cleveland against the Guardians. They come home in time for the All-Star break. They'll have 6 games at home and then go to the All-Star break and then go back on the road after the break. So just some quick notes. I won't be around on Sunday of next week. I'm going to visit my parents for a week, so I will be back on the 13th. When it is All-Star break time, I'll possibly have an update on the draft, and we'll go from there. So like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate everybody who listens. Let your friends know, let your enemies know, let your frenemies know. And thanks for listening. If you want to get in touch with the show, you can at TB Podcast, at tweezecake.social on Mastodon. That's tweezecake.social, TWEESE cake.social, at Podcast Tigers on Twitter, tigersbaseballpodcast@gmail.com on if you want to email me. It's the longest email address in the world, and I'm proud of that. Or you can just leave a comment here on the YouTube channel. Thanks for listening, everybody. Go Tigers.